Good evening and welcome. We are going to use AI again to try to figure out how to learn better, and today I'm actually going to attempt something that I don't have much experience with, like writing HLSL shaders in Unity, and this is going to be like somewhat of a learning experience for me too. Now, we do have the project that we already started, and I can just do something in here like let's make some nice things for this the enemies and all the objects that we built in the scene. And since it's Christmas and happy holidays, have a great Merry Christmas. Was yesterday. And we can actually build something thematic. Like I was thinking we do a candy cane shader. I have the stripes of the candy cane, like red and white and whatever else there might be. And let's see how we can actually do this in a really easy, fast, smart, and productive way. Hey GPT, I am using Unity 6.2. By the way, 6.3 is already released. It's LTS. And I've been wanting to upgrade to that. I'm not going to do an upgrade live because that's going to take a lot of useless time. But let's try out of curiosity, and I want to upgrade to 6.3 LTS. Is that a good idea? Why not? What else do I want to ask? What should I be expecting when doing so? Let's see what it says. Exists and you can install. So it's debatable if it's a good idea, because it's LTS, that might be good. Slated for 2 years, official support, new features, total headache. It fails the build after an upgrade because something in the render graph gets disabled by default. So yeah, there might be some sorts of issues here and there. We're not much interested about that because it's not a commercial project and we're not trying to push this to actually build or create anything in the stores. But there seems to be like some problems. New API changes. I mean, yeah, we don't have that much. We haven't built that much of a project, so if we need new features, better support, 6.2 is fine. Yeah, since it's not a big project, I would say it's not that bad of an idea, maybe. But yet there seems to be some issues when upgrading between the two. Okay, so what was my purpose? I'm using Unity 6.2. I am trying to build an HLSL shader. What's my first step? Let's see if it can actually guide us. Create a shader. Do I want an unlit shader? Okay, so just to get a template, we have properties, the subshader. I should have probably told it that I am using URP. We'll then need to include Lightning HLSL. Consistency is an issue between Unity versions. That is good to know. Graphic language. Yeah, I am aware that it is a graphic language, but is this what I want? On lit shader. What about the lit version? Should I want that? What did I do? Control Z, Control Z. Should I want that? How many versions are there? Let's just like tower defense, create folder, shaders, create. So we have the shader graph, which is not the one that I want, and it has all these options, and then we have shader, URP on lit shader, SRP, lit shader, compute shader, ray tracing, custom render texture, shader variant collection. I have no idea what half of this mean. Standard render pipeline, and the blit was, I think I ran into that a while back. Okay, well, let's start with something simple. We can just figure out the rest as we go. Yeah, I'm already confused. Unlit, no lighting, no shadow, no interaction. A sticker slapped on the mesh. Lighting calculation, shadow normal requires actual understanding of how light works. Yeah, I would like to have actual understanding of how lighting works. Do you want lit? Probably. If you want a shader that interacts with light. Yeah, I do want a shader that interacts with light, but what I want to do is to actually know. So I go to create shader. So I go to create shader, and I got a bunch of options. Can you list them all here and explain what each means? Because yeah, sometimes we might just want to slap something on just to get results and have a progress, but I'm curious at this point, like, why am I making that particular choice? Because this goes hand in hand with learning and not just automating stuff. Like, I'm not just trying to get some quick progress, which might happen in production, for example, and not really caring about absolutely all the details. Okay, so create shader, the actual list as written in the documentation, and it sources us the documentation. Standard surface image, if this is, are these the same? Okay, let's see. Standard surface shader, wired up for lighting. Okay, so we do want light. It is HLSL. Okay, but we have like some template codes maybe with that one. Unlit shader that ignores the light. Yeah, I do not want an unlit shader necessarily, though it might be very good to start with. Image effect shader, full screen post processing. I would also like to learn how to do some custom post processing at some point. Compute shader, GPU physics, but not for drawing meshes, and ray tracing for RTX pipelines, real-time shadows, global illumination. Okay. If you're writing code, shaders via the menu depends on the project setup. Shader graph options. I do not want a shader graph. I have URP and I want a lit shader. Did it list all the options? What else did we have? Let me see. Create shader, European lit, compute ray tracing, SRP blit shader. Well, I guess this one was already listed. What is SRP blit? And I actually knew what the B was for. Scriptable render pipeline. Okay, so it works with any custom pipeline. Blit is just copying rendering from one texture to another. Post-processing full screen, weird stuff with camera texture, effects. Okay, so they're not for models, not for lightning. Runs as a screen effect. Inside any scriptable render pipeline. Okay, so wait, I think I already, yes, I have URP and I want a lit shader. Which option do I use? Let's just do the lit shader. Okay, there is no lit shader graph. No, I want it already lost track of what we are talking, and now I just have to remind it over and over again. Maybe HLSL shader that is lit. I'm not even reading what it says once I figure out that something is wrong. Okay, so there is no template for HLSL shader, obviously. Let's create an unlit shader, surface shader for the old pipeline. So start from an already lit shader. Yeah, like actually getting stuff from something that already exists. And initialize all the things. Okay, can we do this like in 20 minutes? I don't think so. Let's try another variant. I'm using Unity 6.2. I'm doing a shader in HLSL. and I want it to draw candy cane stripes on my 3D model mesh. Just throw in all the slang words, whatever, it's gonna figure out something. Okay, let's just, before doing that, create a new material, candy cane material, which I'm just going to attach to one of these enemies. And don't forget, because they are, wait, which one was this? Yeah, because they are prefabs, we can just hit apply, because you can see here all the changes in the override menu. And just so we are clear what we have, we can go in depth and click any of this. And we also have the option to like choose, if we have like a hierarchy of nested prefabs, we can choose where to apply said change. Okay, we're applying to everybody. Nice going. Maybe we can actually like, hold on, let's make this pretty is too much said. What do you want? Accessory like ears, eyes, whatever else we put on these things. And we can just, okay, let's connect it. I'm so afraid I'm gonna screw something. I'm going to screw something up and I will not remember what. Okay, let's just put it like this, maybe. And which one were you? This one. You can just hit apply all, but be careful because we had here like some changes. And yeah, we did put all of them to move with free, but I don't know. We can just choose which parts we want to apply as changes, and all the enemies are now like this weird, strange, brownish birds kind of color. They look like teddy bears, don't they? Except, okay. Yeah, let me remember that I was actually doing like a shader, but let me first just make them really enemy-like. Which one was this change again? The transform, apply. Or you can just apply all? No, I don't want to apply all. Right click? No, this one is the only one. Great, now all the enemies have like this weird staring at us type of thingy that they're doing. They look more like dangerous things. Okay, so back to our candy cane shader, which I build a material to attach to, and I need to candy cane, which is inside custom from what I've seen. Where is custom? Okay, custom. To test shaders, where did they came from? Okay, and this has no lighting attached to it. It just has base color. Okay, good. And base map. I have no texture. I have this weird thing that they're doing. And let's open this up. This opens up with Visual Studio, which is great. Wait, but I did have a problem with this one. Let's see. I am doing HLSL shaders with Unity and Visual Studio does not auto format or auto complete. Yeah, that happens. Okay, so we need fancy IDE for people, pretend makes them better. I keep hearing about Rider, maybe I'm going to switch to it. Because everybody's like, why is this so popular now? Okay, so what options do I have? I did install that, didn't I? Yeah, install the shader tools. It won't help. Why are you giving me things that don't help? At least you're telling me that it won't help, right? Okay, setting up commands, switching VS Code. Yeah, so basically Visual Studio is not a good idea anymore. Rider is good because the autocomplete works. Dark UI, Unity integration. Streamer said is good. Okay, but do you have actually good points for me? Yeah, so they basically they just hyping it. Does it have a subscription? I'm not paying for an ID. I've done programming in Notepad before. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with my choices in life. Okay, we're opening the shader. We are ignoring all the errors. Hopefully I will figure out how to install that extension that it was telling me about. I'm guessing, yeah, auto formatting is like really bad. Let's not auto format anything. Okay, we have the fragment, the vert. Okay, good. Let's go back to our, I was going to ask if we can just make the thing be red, but I guess we can already do that since it has the color selection. Let's go back to the stripes and see what we can actually add here. He didn't bother to specify the pipeline. I'm sorry, GPT, please forgive me. But it assumes URP. If that's wrong, guess who gets to fix it? You. No, you're going to fix it if that's wrong. Not me. You're the one fixing stuff now. Okay, so this fragment snippet creates red-white stripes based on UVs. In your shader, after getting your UVs, I'm going to be really bad at this. So it gives me the snippet of code, and then it just gives me the entire shader. And I'm just scanning the shader to see if it has like any difference, anything new, anything added, removed, and so on. So it has the frequency and it has the fragment. Now, let's do this. What is UV? What is frag? What is... This is a good teaching moment and learning moment for me. Yes, we're going back to basics. UVs are the coordinates that map to the texture on the 3D model. So basically, fragment is the final color of each pixel. Basically, that's where the candy cane stripes are calculated, and that's where they appear. So fragment does calculations per pixel. And the vert is just the vertex shader, which (3D) positions. It puts the 3D positions onto the screen space. Having something that is basic and simple, it just takes the position, it does the transformation, and it outputs it. Pass extra info to the next stage through the out, which was defined as varings. So the varings are actually... Last time I did shaders like this, the naming was a bit different, but that's okay. Okay, so we have the attributes which are going into the vertex shader, and it outputs the varings, and the varings go into the fragment shader, and it outputs the color. Is that all? Is that all we have? Is that all we need? Okay, so this is why we're using... Wait, where did the UVs go? In that UV, which is the coordinate. Position OS, which is... What is that supposed to be from? Let's see if it actually has... Yeah, it has the... Okay, position OS. What is position OS? Position HHC, and SV position. Yeah, we are diving deeper. Object space. Okay, that was obvious. A vertex position relative to objective space. So basically the position of the object in its own space, which is used through the in attributes. Okay, so far so good. The HEC, homogeneous clip space, screen ready coordinates, object, word, camera, and clip. So after all the transformations are done, it outputs the, what was that, homogeneous clip space. Great. Semantic value is the final position of the object. Yeah, so we have the HEC, which is an SV that comes from the OS. Clear as bright as day. That is absolutely gold. So the position OS is transformed by object and camera, then it goes to the GPU rasterizes by the HHC, and it applies the transform object to clip to figure out how to get it from the OS to HHC. This is basically just the positions, and the UV also takes in the base map. The base map, where is the base map? It's a texture 2D. Yeah, so it applies the UV from the object to the base map, and it gives us the UV for the fragment. And what is the sampler? The sampler was let's see what the sampler wants with us. If you want, I can make a tiny visual diagram. No, you cannot make visual diagrams. In text, not image generation. Okay, so the diagram, it takes the object space and it translates it to world space where the object is in the world, then to camera space, how we see it with the camera, how the GPU sees it, perspective, divides, transform viewport, and the fragment shader. So yeah, this is what the vertex shader does. It takes the original setup of the object and then it goes through everything to pass it along the fragment shader so it figures out where the rest is. And what else? What is sampler base map? Okay. This one was being applied to the fragment shader once once the base map was configured. What is this for? Is this like a function or something? Sampler base map. GPU object that knows how to fetch pixels from a texture. Oh. Yeah, I need to get better prepared with a better idea for this. Handles filtering, wrapping, base map. Did it just expose like a base color, the base map? I don't think I saw the base color. Okay, we have the base color and the base map. Base map is the what? Sampler. So yeah, the sampler is like what? Tiling and offset? How to sample it, yeah. The source, how to sample it, and how to render it. I mean, sure, let's explain that too, and maybe... Okay, sure. Let me know this too. And all I had to do was copy paste 4 lines of code to just render some stripes. Okay. texture is, so the texture is the base map, which is the image that we place on top of the object, which is just the pixels. The sampler is repeat clamp or filter, which are these things that we basically have here, the tiling and offset. So basically tiling and offset. Am I right? Separated because of efficiency and flexibility. One does the thing, the other do the other thingy. Yeah, what to read and how to read it. Tiling and offset are apart. Yeah, that's just the part that actually seems to be exposed in the current shader. And these are things that basically we don't have here. I have no idea why we don't have them, but I'm not going to ask it right now because I just want to do this. So it gives us a stripe using a scene function. Why is it using a scene function? I'm already worried. It has red, the white, and the color, and it loves between the two. And we're just replacing the entire shader. And I keep telling myself I will not copy paste code from ChatGPT directly. The properties. Yeah, the base color, the base map. So the base color is defined. The base color, where did you define the base color? Oh, here, right. And the base map is defined here, right. And then you define those two functions. What did I copy paste? The frequency as a property. For 20. And of course the shader completely broke because it's missing the connection. It has the definition, it has the usage, and it needs this declaration too, which should I put it? It's putting it before the word function. Do I need a C buffer though? Do I? Please tell me. And we have the candy cane shader. And it only took me like an hour of asking GPT all the stupid questions. And 5 seconds to copy paste. What is this? This looks awful. What makes you think that that's what I wanted? No. Okay. So basically what it split into 4 things. Yeah, I think it split. It definitely split something. Because it's coming and it's going and it's... Can I tell you that I'm not satisfied? Just like that. Okay. Let's debugging. The current variant of the shader. Actually, what does it do? It seems to split the mesh into 4 for some reason. Sine function, okay. So this is because the sine function, which oscillates between -1 and 1, so once it does a step, creates the alternation. The first section is too low, or UVs are not normalized. Well, yeah, I would be curious to see how this applies to like a custom object with the custom mesh. Don't have anything handy, but we'll try to figure out something maybe for another time. Anyway, we can go to this, the tower that we built before, and we can actually, oh, this is so cool. We can apply the shader to this. Nice. We can actually replace the material to this. And yeah, I guess this is because the way the meshes and the UVs are actually built for Unity's default objects. Let's see what it tells us. So, frequency too low, UVs aren't normalized. Yeah, so the UVs aren't set up the way that we would expect. And it turns into that. Mesh UVs aren't uniform. The stripes appear stretched or split in with sections. Increase the frequency. I can rewrite the shader snippet to give it continuous diagonal candy cane stripes instead of just splitting it into chunks. Yes, let's do that. And tell me what to change. Okay, because yeah, that's how actually candy cane stripes are more diagonal, and we can do it like that. So in this case, we are only using the UVX. Is that what it told us? Maybe. Are you? Rotate skew. Okay, so we have the angle, the rad. The candy cane colors. A revised fragment with frequency no longer being used as the property. Okay. Skew the UV slightly instead of rotating using a twist effect. Frequency, the number of stripes. Rotated UV in sine is oscillating UV rotation. Yeah, sure. No, I don't want you to write the entire shit. I can do this myself. Oh, this is bad. And this too. So the frequency is actually frequency. Where did I declare this? I need a new ID. The stripe uses the scene. Diagonal shape angle. Yeah. Looks good. And we have the rotation. And let's see how it looks through the... Yeah, this is definitely a UV problem, like maybe needing custom objects because there's a scene here. I don't think this can be fixed with the shader. But what we can do is actually arrange it so it doesn't feel that bad. It goes kind of seamless. That looks bad, but we're not doing triple A's, okay? And yeah, diagonal for a flat surface. Might not feel like really twisty and twirly. Let's take a reference. How does a candy cane actually look? Candy cane actually has multiple colors. Could have multiple colors. Can add multiple colors. Where are you, my GPT? Wow, this looks amazing. You are doing such a great job. I want to add 2 more colors to my shader. How do I do that? How do I do rainbow candy cane? Because yeah, of course, that one was too flat. For color bands, okay, so we have the sine val, which I do believe is the same. Which has the frequency and the rotation UV mapping from -1 do I need a mapping too? Why did they introduce that? And define the 4 colors. Let's see what's going on here. Float red, white. So basically we no longer need this part. Can't even comment things right. We don't have the sine val, we have the stripe. And we have the 4 colors: red, white, blue and green. Okay, so we have red, white, blue and green. This does not look at all like what I expected. What happens if I do 9? Okay, so we have the mapped. You don't even need to actually create the mapping, but let's see what it tells us. Okay, but now I have white, red, white, blue, green, blue. What's going on here? What are you trying to do? Okay, so sign is oscillating between -1 and 1. And then I map it to 0, 1. It goes to 0, 1, 0. So handling this with a sign I could do like a check to see if it's actually between specific values. Why won't it work? And let's try to do the stripe. Convert sign to 0, 1. So yeah, here it defines the red and the white, but if stripe less than and this is basically just going into debug mode and trying to figure out what's happening and what is it doing with us. And if it's from -1 to 1, then 0.75 should take up most of the space, and minus, yeah, this one should reverse it. So we have like 5 colors. We have -1, so basically we can like move back to the mapped one, and instead of map we have stripe. I guess the mapping function for some reason failed. Let's check why that failed in a while. -0.5, 0, 0.5, and else. No, it still fails. It's okay, so the mapping was right, but the sign keeps going, repeating backwards. I am really trying to visualize the sign on this one. Yeah, okay, so let's go with absolute. And I'm guessing that doesn't need. Just hit Ctrl S on the browser again. Modulo to keep repeating it. So what's going on if I do it like this and I use the stripe and I save it and okay, something happened. Yeah, this is worse. Just give me the complete shader. Full diagonal for color candy cane shader. Why did it fail though? Sine wave for stripe pattern. Why do we need a sine wave for stripe pattern? Why though we need this? So what, we don't, okay, we don't need a sine, okay. We're no longer using sine, but we are using frac for clean repeating stripes. The values that go from 0, 1, 0, 1. Okay, so the sine was going back and forth basically, because this is what sine does. But why did you choose sine in the first place? We just sine out of habit because like every shader knew by. So yeah, sine is continuous in smooth but not discrete. Yeah, because it goes like sine function. Yeah, and you have like the red is the top part and the middle part is the white, and you have like overlapping red on top of the white, and this is why it happens basically. This rounded thingy here, I forgot what was called. No, Chrome, I do not want that. Okay, so we have given up on sines and we have switched to fracs. What is a frac? And we are also introducing the angle as a variable, as a property. And let's just take this and see what happens, because hey, it might actually turn out to be worse. Save. Oh my god, it actually worked. And we are actually having, this is so amazing. There is one last thing I want to do and to make it configurable. Let's see if we can actually do it fast. But first, why are we using frac? Simplest way to make patterns. Frac returns the decimal part of x, and you're applying that to what exactly? So you're taking the radians, you're calculating based on rotation and frequency, and changing this stripe frequency okay, and changing the degrees actually makes it like really wobbly and stuff. There are several things I would like to keep on building on this shader. So it returns the decimal part of what function? Rotation times frequency. Yeah. And it maps it to the 0-1 range, so it gets all of this cleared. Good. Okay, awesome. But if I wanted to add something, a variable to decide if I want the stripes higher or lower, what should I do? Yeah, I want to offset the UVs before applying the frac. Sliding the pattern up or down the mesh. So we have an offset that is declared as another variable. Why do you keep doing this to me? And was it a float? It was a float. Offset y. I want to see what it changed, because this is working quite nicely and I don't want to ruin it. We can do a quick backup just in case. Backup like notepad. Yeah. So you're adding stuff. We have the rate, the UV calculations, and then the stripe pose. Okay, so just apply the vertical offset. Like, I think this is the only thing that it added. Okay, let's see how it's doing. Wow, this is so not working. I mean, the shader compiles. Wait, it's not working because we're using the X to calculate this. So we rotated the UVY. So why doesn't anything happen? Okay, but nothing happens because you are offsetting the y and using x to calculate the frac. So we are going to offset the x instead of the y, because this was actually not used anywhere after this part of the code. And now we are offsetting something, and we can actually do like really smooth animation with this. Let's try something like 0 1. Let's try something minor because I want to test it with the mouse and see how it moves, and it creates like all these ripples and waves. And it goes down the poles. This can be like really hypnotic if you play around with it. I should really do like a series to create shaders, but like ones that create hypnotic effects. That'd be cool. Stripe frequency. I keep trying to align everything, but it's just so sensitive. Okay, no, not that much, not that much. Why does it keep jumping like that? Just move like a 10 or something. Okay, and the angle. Yeah. And you can actually see the preview over here. It's using a sphere and it has perfect twirls. Okay, let's move on. How do I... Nice, you're doing a great job. How do I add... Do you notice like it's not trying to say anything bad to me anymore? Ever since I started talking nice to it. How do I make it have a custom number of colors? Yeah, so I have this part that is hard-coded and I want to go with the column count and the column array. And before doing that, let's create another backup of something that is working. And we have these two variables, color count. I give him a color count of 4 and the color array of 8. Why do I need the color count separate from the color array? And we are no longer doing this. Maybe leave the comment. But we are doing this. Why do I need a color count? Can't I just get the array length? You can't carry the what? Length of a shader array at runtime. Once the shader is compiled, there is no size property. Okay, I'll bite. Color array is fixed. Did I save this? No, I did not save this. Why are you crashing on me? I don't want you to crash. I have a float and a color. So I'll just assume that. Why is this a float? Why is it not an int? Do you not have ints? You poor little thing. Can you do this? No, you obviously cannot do that. Okay, so it's going to so it cannot do dynamic initialization. Oh my god, I cannot follow letters. So it always gives, so it always allocates like max 16 elements. Okay, so that's why I told it how many elements it has. How do I declare this? Inside the shader. Alright, it's a float 4. Color array of 16, which is no longer 16. This should also be 16. And it's like not initialized or something. And now you should not, because you have like, I raised an initialization, didn't I? This one. And you're not working because you're expecting at line 9. You're not even showing me the lines. This is crazy. Yeah, I need a better ID. Okay, so this is using the color count to get the number of colors in the array, and it's giving me an error. At line 9, which is around here somewhere. My best guess is that it didn't declare the array correctly. I'm having an error here. So we cannot declare arrays. But how do I add a varied number of colors? Okay, so we not, but how do I expose the property for color array? So I cannot expose the arrays, but I can. Oh my god, this is such a headache. And the color count is like 4. Did it have a color 0? Yes. And we are building with 5, 6, 7, 8. Five, 6. Is this the right way, or is just GPT making fun of me? Have I gone astray? Let's say we have max 8 colors. Let's just do a check on it. Okay, so we're doing multi-dimensional array. HLSL array property. We no longer need those. Yeah, so there's actually not a way to do this nicely. (2021). And we are actually having like hacks and a bunch of stuff. Okay, so it's not GPT making fun of me. Can you just give me the complete code, please? Yeah, let's just see where it put everything together, because expose up to 8 separate colors. Why is it exposing 8? It was doing 4 earlier. I'm paranoid because it's doing what I was doing. Did it know that I was doing that? I don't know. Okay, we have the colors. This is going to, can it? No, it cannot line. I'll get a better idea, I swear. Okay, and it actually uses the colors declared separately with no actual array. This is just really hacky. Build the color array and picking an index. Yeah, so it was telling me to do this inside the fragment shader, basically. Just checking this one more time. Yeah, but it did declare them as inside some init function or at the top of the frag. Yeah, it did tell me to at the top of the frag, inside the frag, I guess. Yeah. Okay, fine, you win. And going back, I did copy those. Did I get the stripe index? And color should be a float free. And the stripe index I no longer need, right? What was it using? Stripe pose and color count. Pick an active color. Please format the code and do not leave your code like this. And I'm getting swirly stuff. Number of colors. I want 2 colors. Excellent. And now I want 6 colors. How cool is this? Is this black? Where is this black coming from? Okay, this is the blue. It's obviously calculating stuff wrong. So the first color is the red color. The second color. And this is like the last color. Oh boy. Color 5. Where is color 4? What did you do? Oh, did I do a mistake? I think I did. It's 0, 1, 2, 3. Oh, it was supposed to be 4. Yeah, my bad. I miscounted. 5, 6, 7. Oh, nice. So let's see, we have red, white, purple, white, reddish. How many? 6. And white and purple again. And more light thing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and this goes. Yeah, whatever. Okay, excellent. We are having custom colors, no arrays. That's also fine. I will probably check out the hack that I found maybe at one point. And there's one last thing to do. One last thing to do. For each color, the intensity is not the intensity, the line width is variable. Define that for me and give me the complete shader. Once more, thank you a million times. Yeah, let's push it. One last thing, add width to all of them, and let's just take the changes that we actually need. Oh, come on, is it still writing the code? Oh god. Final version, diagonal, adjustable stripe density, slide, multiple colors, variable stripe width, and the color count to control how many are valid. And let's take them step by step. And we are adding them. Let's just do a better backup. I like backups. Never forget to do backups. Adding all the widths. Adding all the variables. Also, it doesn't copy paste, right? Okay, fine. And to the previous calculations, adding the rate of width. Oh god, this has gotten so complex so fast. It was like 2 lines of code and suddenly it's... Let's just put like a lot of spaces just to see. Just to see what I've broken. Normalize the width so they sum 1. Total width. Yeah, so it's doing a total width up to the color count. Then it's normalizing it, so it's 1. Then it's doing the checks where it looks for how much it should have, and it's not working. With array, what are you trying to tell me? Use without completely initialized. Did I forget to copy something? It seems to not be initialized. So on D11, all the elements need to be initialized before use. You're on roll 16 for loops. It's yours, not mine. Okay, so we are going for this. I don't think I have the mental capacity to understand right now what all the new stuff that it's using actually mean. Normally do the learning process and try to figure them one by one. Oh, come on. Why are you doing this to me? I had 2 errors and one disappeared, and it's still telling me it's not initialized. Come on, give me an answer, give me a quick answer. So it complains. Seriously? Is this necessary? Is this... Am I trying to build something too complex? Should I have started with a line? Like drop up line. And that should be enough. No. Did I save? I saved. Do I need the rest of the error because it doesn't really... Okay, let's give it all the error. It doesn't allow partially initialized arrays. Does it want the color initialization too? The complete error is the following. Work. It's funny, there are a million ways to actually initialize these things. What happens if I just... No, nothing, okay. And then let's do this. Save. No, nothing. Is that the error? Did I... Wait, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not seeing it. I'm not... I'm looking through this entire thing and I'm not sure what I'm looking for. It has 16. Do I need 16? I don't need 16. I only need 8. But it's not pink though. Is this actually working? Okay. Wait, so this is actually working. It's not... Okay, so let's put it back. Okay, it doesn't like this part. And I can just clear... Was the error not mandatory? How do I control white this? Why do you have no redo? Okay, this one, nice. So the error was, okay, this is like really stupid. Because the error was left there from previous. Yeah, no, I'm not getting down and bother it. It was okay for the whole time. There was no error. And we're doing a final thing. We are taking a reference image. Yeah, I think this one is good enough. And we are just, hold on, I lost my window. I just need to do this. And taking the shader on the other side. And let's see, I have like what? We have the white and the red. That's two colors, two main colors, and then 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like a total of 8 colors. So we're starting with white. We're adding red, and then white again. And the red can be like some sort of this color, and this color again, and this color again, and this color again. We're having like white, red, white, red, white, red, but the interesting part is that the white is around, let's say the white is 1, because it adds all the things together and it normalizes them. And not the next red, not the next white, this one is around half the white portion, but this is upside down for some reason, right? That doesn't even matter. And we have this like 0.05, a really thin stripe. And we've done it. Maybe this one can go to 0.8 or less. We have built a candy cane according to reference. I also want this white to be like this, and this one to be like this, just to add a bit of variety. This is like turning into something. And now we can just animate. Wait, I think there was another one with some green in it. Yeah, like this one. Can we add a quick green? Yeah, these are like more of a gradient-ish, somewhat. And yeah, they have like better textures. I still don't have the lighting, but that's not gonna be a problem. The two lines that are there, I want to turn them green. Greener. Why isn't this okay? And a bit. Yeah, now let's put this back to red. Haha, nice. Yeah, and one last thing, let's just do a manual animation. And where was that offset? We didn't. Yeah. And we can just look at the entire scene and see how everything is animating. Wait. I can do this. I can do this with this. Can I animate offset inside the shader? I was planning to only go like for a simple version, but speed, units per second. Yeah, it's using the unity time.y. And we are going into the part of the shader. This is the worst thing I have ever written. I do want to get the shader be more modular, maybe. Yeah, this doesn't work because unity time is not identified. So unity time or time. Oscillate back and forth. It does have quite some problems. Is this what you want? No, it's not what you want. Is this what you want? Okay, GPT, so this is not working. This is not working. It's telling me unity time not found. Are you just guessing, hallucinating? And it's rotating. Let's just play. I still didn't even set up the camera to actually make it look right, but I'm just curious about one thing. Why wasn't this working exactly? It is not automatically defined. So the URP provides similar variables in the shader library core for a time vector that looks like this. So I have direct access to sine and cosine. Time/20. Why do I need time/20? Why do I need /20? Slow down version of time pre-divided by 20. So just a basic convention. There's like this rendering problem that we're having, and I am trying, okay, low resolution, free aspect, because it's not rendering the highest thing. I'm not sure if I can change this only by the resolution. The camera should have some sort of anti-aliasing. With predefined post-processing. I just want to see, yeah, this one is bad. Because when you have details like this, things start to get wonky. I can't say I like it completely, but it's better than the default, I guess. Aliasing might always be better than not aliasing. And why is the resolution not? Yeah, this is going well. Just put this shader on everything. It's gonna make everything better. And make it rotate really fast. Just one last change before we sign out. Speed is 0.5. I actually want the speed to be 5. No, it's not. It's not getting me dizzy enough. So let's add another 0. Yeah, this should be fine. Yeah, I would say we'd have enough candy for tonight. And we can actually sign out. I do want to invite you to connect with me on Discord, link in the description and the first comment. And for more shaders and tower defense and other stuff, we can actually start building next year, like dynamic spawning something for the enemies, so we can have more enemies. And until next year, I'll be signing off, and happy holidays. Don't forget to get hypnotized. Thank you for staying with me. Good night.